Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, martes el 25 de febrero, wrapping up the very end of February. Learning target for today is to talk about family members and your relationship with each other. Your warm-up question is to describe one of your family members using 3 descriptive adjectives from page 119. Very similar to some of the descriptions you made for your homework due today, perfil personal. We'll go over that assignment here in just a moment. New notes on the present tense of ER and IR verbs on page 126. We'll complete the inténtalo to gauge your comprehension. Pair practice together. Actividades. Forgive me, I'm going to change the spelling of that right now because I'll forget otherwise. Actividades 1 y 2 en la página Actividades. En la página 128, activities 1 and 2, exit ticket will be conjugation bingo. No homework is due for next class. But you do have an assignment due by midnight tonight. And again, that is called the perfil personal, personal profile. Let's go ahead and take a look at that assignment. Not going to go over it in great detail here because you do have video instructions for how to complete it. I'll just say that there are 2 paragraphs that you're going to create. One paragraph is modeled after this first paragraph, which is essentially your personal profile. Descriptions of who you are, 3. Nationality or nationalities, which can be found on page 119, along with those descriptive adjectives, followed by your home city or home state. Use this sentence, but indicate not 1, but 3 subjects that you're currently taking. Do you look for a similar or different friend? And then what are 4 adjectives that would best describe your ideal friend? That's the first paragraph. For more detailed and slow provided examples, you can watch that video there. Second paragraph is a description of your family. First sentence is going to include how many members there are in your family, and then 3 sentences for each of the members of your family. And again, we're talking about nuclear family. Mother, father, siblings. And for each of those family members, 3 descriptions. 1 is going to be descriptions of their personality or appearance, similar to this sentence here, but provide 3 descriptive adjectives. The next description is going to be where they're from. For example, mi padre es de, and then their home city or state. And then finally, what their names are. Mi padre se llama, mi madre se llama, etc. All right, that is your perfil personal due by midnight tonight. Our new notes are on page 116. ER and IR endings in the regular present tense. You recall from page 78, I believe. Yes. Oops. Page 78 has the regular AR endings, o, as, a, amos, an, that we looked at in second semester. Here, on page 126, you have your regular ER and IR verb endings. They're very similar to each other, matter of fact, identical to each other for all the singular forms. The plural forms have only one distinguishing characteristic. ER verbs end in emos, E-M-O-S, and IR verbs end in imos, I-M-O-S. But aside from the nosotros form, all other forms share the same endings in the past, as noted here at the very bottom of page 126. 127 gives you a list of common ER and IR verbs. And we're going to do the inténtalo using these infinitives and these endings, conjugating the verbs correr, abrir, and aprender, given the forms provided at the very beginning. For example, Graciela corre, ellos abren, él aprende. You'll notice that the ending matches the subject that's provided at the beginning of the sentence. This is subject-verb agreement. We have this concept in English. The way that we conjugate a verb is an agreement with the speaker provided at the very beginning. So I'll give you a moment to go ahead and knock out the inténtalo, which is at the bottom of page 127, conjugating these three verbs according to the subjects provided. All right, correct answers for the inténtalo. Tú corres, yo corro, Sara y Ana corren, usted corre, ustedes corren, la gente corre. La gente is people, but grammatically speaking, this is a third person singular noun. There's no S. And so that's why we use the singular conjugation ending corre. And then Marcos y yo corremos. Anytime you have a subject followed by y yo, it's going to mean it's in the nosotros form because you are included in this group of people. Number 8, corremos. And again, we're choosing the endings that match the speaker, which comes at the very beginning of the sentence. All right, let's do abrir. Carolina abre, yo abro, nosotras abrimos, usted abre, tú abres, ustedes abren, los muchachos abren. Abren for 7 and 8, as 7 and 8 are both talking about a group or to a group of people. Finally, the last verb, aprender. Maribel y yo aprendemos, just like number 8 of the verb correr. Tú aprendes. Tú y tu hermanastra would be the same as ustedes. You and your stepsister, y'all, ustedes, aprenden francés. Mi hijo aprende chino. Yo aprendo alemán. Usted aprende inglés. Nosotros aprendemos italiano. All right, we're going to do activities 1 and 2 before we play conjugation bingo for our exit ticket. Activity 1, essentially the same as the inténtalo that we just did. In a full complete sentence, conjugate the verb provided according to the subject at the very beginning prior to the verb. I'll do numbers 1 and 2. Pause to let you do 3 through 6. Mi familia y yo, my family and I, nosotros vivimos. Nosotros vivimos en Mérida, Yucatán. Tengo muchos libros. Me gusta leer. So number 2, leer would not conjugate because you already have a verb conjugated before it. Anytime you have two verbs together in Spanish, the first one gets conjugated. In this case, the verb gustar in the yo form, me gusta, to say I like. And then just as we would in English we wouldn't say I like I read, you would say I like to read. That would be the verb leer. So the second verb, when together, two verbs, the second one stays in the infinitive, meaning don't take off the AR, ER, and IR, leave it there. All right, I'll pause so you can do 3 through 6. Correct answers for 3 through 6. Mi hermano Alfredo es muy inteligente. Alfredo asiste las clases. Los martes y jueves Alfredo y yo corremos en el parque. Mis padres comen, mucha lasaña. Yo creo que mis padres deben comer menos. Activity 2, you have elements provided. You may need to add some other necessary elements to form complete sentences, such as the example. Step 1, conjugate your verb according to the subject. Yo corro con mis amigos, with my friends, los lunes y miércoles. If you're not sure the different function words that you need to utilize, function words serve a grammatical purpose, provide grammatical structure. at the end of the world if you're not familiar with the different function words that are missing. At the very least, these content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, are much more essential to provide meaning. I'll do numbers 1 and 2. Pause so you can do 3 through 6, and then we'll play conjugation bingo. Manuela asiste a la clase de yoga. Number 2, Eugenio abre el correo electrónico. Pause so you can do 3 through 6. All right, number 3, Isabel y yo leemos en la biblioteca. Sofía y Roberto aprenden a hablar inglés. No need to conjugate hablar because you have two verbs together. First one conjugates, second one stays in the infinitive. Tú comes en la cafetería de la escuela. And number 6, mi novia y yo, that's the nosotros form, compartimos el libro de historia. All right, let's go ahead and play conjugation bingo now. Again, no homework is due for next class. Oops. No homework is due for next class. Just make sure to turn in your perfil personal by midnight tonight. Conjugation bingo plays just like how we did the first game, which was for AR verbs. What you need to do first is replace the B-I-N-G-O in bingo with the yo form for B, to form for I, etc., etc. These are the different subject pronouns that we use when we conjugate verbs in the present tense, or in any tense for that matter, right? So fill out the B-I-N-G-O, or replace rather the B-I-N-G-O with the different subject pronouns. And then we're going to choose 5 ER verbs together in class. If you're doing this from home, you can pick any 5 ER verbs, doesn't matter. Pick any 5 ER verbs and then conjugate them in the yo form, in the tú form, in the él, ella, usted form, nosotros form, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So all 5 verbs will be conjugated in this column in the yo form. All 5 verbs will be conjugated in the tú form here. Fill in the free box with one of the conjugations for él, ella, usted. All of this column would be nosotros. All of this column would be ellos, ellas, ustedes. That simple.